What's up, everybody? Kyle Buckland here with the Artful Souls. I want to do just a real quick demonstration here on being bold. So sometimes I'll just set little um, parameters for myself, and to say to myself, I'm just going to do something just big and bold, and really, um, not get too fussy about anything. And it might be another day that I come into the studio and say, you know what, today I'm going to be a little bit more careful. So these are just examples of different ways that you can challenge yourself. It doesn't mean that being bold and is better than being careful. We can actually still be careful while being bold. But I think it's important to challenge yourself, to try these different techniques. A lot of times when we have kind of free reign, we can get confused and get lost. But if we give ourselves some boundaries and say, I'm just going to try to paint this very quickly, keep it very loose, and it kind of frees us up a little bit because we know what we're trying to do, and we're not trying to do too many things at once. It's very easy to get overwhelmed sometimes when we're painting. Just getting this laid in here. Let's take a little break, come back here in just a second and see where we've gone with it. Alright, so we can see very quickly we're starting to develop a feeling of these backlit trees in the snow. I'm using lots of thick, bold paint, so when I give myself these missions or little challenges, so to speak, I really try to stick to them. And one thing that can always teach us about how to use paint is to really scoop up some paint. So for example, right now we're just really shoveling on this light tone, and notice it's not pure white either. This has a little bit of a yellow, so cadmium yellow light to it, just to warm it up just a bit. Snow is very reflective, and that means that where it's in the shadows, it gets the reflection of the sky. And then where we get this nice, beautiful sunlight, it really reflects that warm tone of the sunlight. So you see very quickly, just by establishing these kind of warm and cool shapes here in the foreground, we really start to suggest this reaching shadow that's coming out towards us. So, next, we'll be looking at how to develop a little bit more detail. Now we're going to be letting some color really do some talking here. So I want to exaggerate some of these trees that have this warm reflected light on the back side of them. It's going to help give this painting a feeling of a glowing light. So, and again, I'm being very deliberate with keeping this paint very pigmented, very bold. Let's hit a little transition color here. Sometimes between the shadow and the sunlight, we'll get a tone that's kind of a little bit cooler than the sunlight, but a little bit warmer than the shadow. Sometimes an orange can work nicely for this, and it's also tying in with some of that orange reflected light on the back of the tree, so that's not going to hurt anything. So we're starting to let color describe a lot of detail here. So we're moving this painting into another direction, kind of another level or another step of detail. But we're letting color do a lot of the work here. So I want to add a little bit of a lighter blue to these shadows. So let's go ahead and do that. I won't take this painting too much further, but I did just want to show you how very quickly you can establish some beautiful color harmonies and a feeling of movement and light and energy in a painting without spending hours and hours and hours on it. And this is really important if you want to go outside and paint too, because when you're outside, shadows move quickly. You're chasing the sunlight, and you can't be messing around. So by experimenting with this technique and really just being as bold and vigorous with the paint as you can, it's really going to help your painting game, and especially your plein air game. So if you take something away from this lesson, let it be that you don't be afraid to challenge yourself to try different techniques and different approaches, and give yourself set yourself some boundaries, and see what happens when you kind of work within the limitations of those boundaries. Oftentimes we come out very, very surprised at what we do, and even when we don't necessarily paint the greatest painting, we have to understand too that this is could be considered more of a study, and we're in it here to learn, especially when we're experimenting. That's one of the main goals. We do want to paint a nice painting, but most importantly, we want to continue to grow and to progress and to learn from our experience. So, all right, thanks so much for watching. If you want to see the rest of this demonstration, click the link below for my Patreon page and sign up for just $1 a month. You can become a patron and get special access to more content. And then also down below in the description is a link to my new video that just came out through Streamline Publishing called Courageous Colors. That's a 3-hour long art instruction video with lots of good information in there. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you soon in some more videos.